So we're playing the Easter tournament, and Coach Lombardo, he was there one night, and I laid down this just gorgeous bunt, and that's what got me my ride down here to Limestone. But signed with Coach, and the Army actually shipped me away. I had to go to advanced training, and I finished up with the engineer course, came back on the 7th of August, I believe it was, and walked into Fort Dorm, room 13B maybe.
Well, we first started recruiting Matty Craig because of his friend David Wise. I went over to see David Wise. David was a catcher over at West Lincoln, and David's outstanding catcher and had a lot of accolades, and so I went over to see him. We were needing a catcher that year in 2002, and their second baseman caught my eye a little bit, a guy named Matt Craig. Matt showed that he had some wheels, that he could run a little bit, and knew how to play the game and played the game hard. So when we were talking to David, we were also now starting to talk to Matt about Matt coming over with David, because it's always good to have a friend come over and go to school with you.
All right, well, when I got here, my first practice, Coach had set us down and he had told us that the way he ran his team was in the fall, that you come out here and you play as hard as you can, and if you're good enough, you'll make the varsity team. If not, you'll play a JV schedule until you get good enough to make that team. So, being a 18-year-old kid that didn't have any muscle mass and couldn't hit far, I had to work my way up on that JV team to get on Coach's squad. But I listened to what they said, and I had a good mentor in Coach Hayes, and he worked with me on hitting and fielding, and listened to the older guys on the team. Charlie Fowler, who coached here for a while, he gave me a lot of good tips on hand movements and all. So I got out there and played that JV schedule with everything I had.
Through our fall league that year, Matt played pretty well, and it came down to the numbers on the JV versus numbers on the varsity team, and we felt like we were pretty good varsity-wise, and wanted Matt to play more and make sure he got some work in. But by the end of the season, we were able to call him up. He'd progressed enough where we felt like he could compete at a high level.
And then one night, Coach called me up and said, "Hey, we want you to start traveling with us." My first game was in Newberry College, and Jimmy Turner, he had a little bit of an issue with the umpire's call, and he got set down on the bench. And Coach looks over at me, and I was scared to death. He's like, "Matty, get your letter, you're going in." And I'm like, "Oh no." I was at that point in time, I was a little more scared of doing that. I was going to be over at the hot corner on my first varsity game, and I thought I got killed on a one hopper from the leadoff man that night. It'd been a great deal, because at that point in time I'd worked so hard to get to where we were at, and the guys on the team and we always listen to Coach about, you got to do something. If it's raining, you're going to do something. We're hitting the cage if we have to. And we took that to heart, and we'd go up there and we'd hit till our hands would bleed. And it all paid off. By the end of the season, we had accomplished some great things, and then ended up being able to be all conference.
His role on that team was one of really of leadership. Matt was a big reason why the team was such a cohesive unit. He was a leader on that team, not only by his example on the field, because he went at it as hard as he could all the time, but, with his, verbally as well. But, the guys saw Matt, they saw how he played, how hard he played, and, they followed suit. And, he was a big reason why, we were conference champions in 2005.
Well, it was 2005, and we had invaded Iraq 2 years prior, and our unit was a guard unit at the time, and they kept telling us, be ready, you're probably going to get called, and it never happened. Well, my junior year, we're going away to St. Andrews. We had to win 2 out of 3 to clinch the conference championship, and the bus ride up there, my squad leader called, and he said, "Hey, Craig, pack your stuff, man, we're going to Iraq." And I was a little bit dumbfounded at the time. I was like, "Really? I mean, we're about to play for a conference championship. I got another year of ball left." So after it set in, I walked up and I let Coach Hayes listen to the message I got prior to that, and everybody was still a little like, "Did that really just happen?" And then after the bus ride was over, I talked to everybody, and then we went out and won 2 out of 3 and clinched our championship.
So we're cruising along. Well, about halfway through the trip down to Laurinburg, Matty Craig comes walking up from back part of the bus and hands the phone to Matt Hayes. Of course, Matt's my longtime assistant, and says, "You're not going to believe this." Well, Matt listens to it, and it is Matt Craig's sergeant telling him to get ready, that his unit, his National Guard unit, is going to be deployed to Iraq. Now, Hayes is kind of in disbelief. He shows it to me. I'm kind of in disbelief that, and I'm thinking, I mean, here's a guy that is 1 year away from graduating college, and now they're going to send him off to Iraq. But you know what? I was kind of, at first, kind of feeling sorry a little bit for Matt. But when Matt talked about it, Matt Craig, Matt was ready to go. Matt understood that this was his time, and that he was a soldier, and that he welcomed that assignment, and that really inspired me to get a better understanding of just who Matt Craig was.
I came back 2006 and got back on the field, and it took me a while to get my timing back down. And I hit in that cage and took BP every day just with the team, and it was a transition from going away from the game for like around a year and a half and counting the off seasons to getting back and being in full swing, ready to play again. But Coach, he told me, he's like, when you get back, you got your spot. And I came back and kept working and mixed in about, I think it was about 25, 30 games that year.
When he came back, we had told him, because we had talked, and he wanted to come back, and I said, look, you've got a home here. Just when you're ready to get back and you're ready to come back, just, you can come back. We want you back on the ball club, of course. So, he comes back, and he had that same fire and same intensity that he had, before he left. You couldn't really tell, by looking at him that it had really changed from that, from that 1 year being off. It took him a little while, baseball-wise, to get back on the swing of things, and we were patient with him, and he was patient with himself, and he finally came back around, and he hit 364 that year. Matt's a unique individual, and he puts God and country first, and he's a soldier, and his determination, it really was an inspiration to all of us.
Yeah, but anything's possible as long as you set your mind to it and actually devote yourself to it and bear down and apply the discipline that you have. You can achieve whatever you want to achieve, and it's for sports, it's for the workforce, it's for everyday life, family life, anything.